She's bleeding from the nose and mouth. She's down with us while the male is up at the room, and he's actually a professional MMA fighter, Jon Jones.
A few hours before that 911 call, Jon Jones gets inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame for taking part in one of the greatest fights of all time.
That fight with Alexander Gustafsson was one of the toughest things I had to do in my years, both mentally and physically. It was only 25 minutes, but I learned a lot about myself in that 25 minutes.
And Jon Jones may be losing this fight going into the championship round.
The fourth and fifth round, I pulled from something that I didn't know I had inside of me.
There's a lot of anxiety in the corner of the champion, Mike.
I remember the fight.
And there's a nice elbow. Caught him. Oh, that might have hurt him.
Yeah, that did.
It's probably the hardest battle I had in my career.
I saw three Jones out there.
Gustafsson is hurt. And he looks for the spin again. Gustafsson's busted up now.
Final seconds of the round.
Flying knee.
Jon Jones is such a beast. Winning over Jon Jones is bigger than taking the belt.
Incredible fight. Incredible fight. Who would have thought we'd be going into the fifth round and Jon Jones might have to take Gustafsson out to retain his title.
Forever, now I do know what I'm like when things get tough.
Gustafsson looks to take Jones out. Nice uppercuts. Those punches are busting up the mouth of Jon Jones. Nice elbows. Head kick. Big head kick. And Gustafsson just put his hands on his hips like he was exhausted. Another head kick. Both of these guys are pushed to their limit in this fight.
Spinning elbow from Gustafsson.
Hands up. Hands up.
30 seconds.
There's a head kick again.
And then again.
Incredible. And an elbow.
They're going to go the distance.
Flying knee by Jones.
Wow.
That might be the greatest title fight in the history of the light heavyweight division.
His victory against Gustafsson solidifies the Jones family as one of the most prolific in American sports history. The same year, his older brother Arthur wins the Super Bowl, while his younger brother Chandler plays his second season with the New England Patriots.
This is about $1 billion shot that one family would produce a Baltimore Raven and a young stud New England Patriot. How do you explain that all three of you came from the same household?
Grew up in the inner city of Rochester.
It's a really small town, and
We share the same bedroom, all three of us. Yeah, we share the same bedroom.
Oh my God!
I'm the middle as far as age, but when it comes to size, I'm the smallest by far of my brothers. So I've been getting my butt kicked since I was a little boy. Chandler and Arthur was always exceptional. You know, they were always the captains of the football team. I was always like third string. My freshman year wrestling, my record was 5-35. I got my butt whooped. I was never the strongest, never the fastest, never had the best physique.
I thought, though, they called you Bones because you broke people's bones, but apparently they said it's because your brothers used to call you Skin and Bones?
yeah, I was so skinny.
My wrestling coach gave me the nickname of Bones, yeah.
You know, it's just always been a great competition growing up to be the best. And
Everything was a competition. You know, we were running around the house. Who could open the refrigerator the fastest? Who can drink the most milk?
But they'd be so mad. They come home, there's holes in the walls.
furniture broken.
The foundation of the couch is cracked. Beds are broken.
Right.
This scar in the middle of my forehead, it's from this guy.
I got one too now.
My father actually bought a wrestling net and put it in our basement just so we wouldn't break furniture. When we get home, as soon as we get home, we would take our backpacks off and we would go in the basement and we'll just get 5-minute rounds apiece and we'll just wrestle.
My dad's a great guy. You know, he's a pastor. Him being a spiritual leader, he really taught us the importance of faith and belief. I felt growing up he was always a little harder on me. You know, we looked a lot alike and we had the same personality, so we would butt heads a lot. He was a guy who was so passionate about us succeeding in sports to the point where he made wrestling this competition for us, where he would give us $6 if we got a pin, $2 if we won, in the finals.
My mom's really the bully of the family. That's where John get it from.
She's the strong one of the household. I think she wears the pants.
My mom always taught us one fight, we all fight. So we jumped a lot of people growing up.
Dude, I got my butt kicked when I was a lot younger. A kid named Leonard. He came over, double leg dived me. My head hit the concrete so hard that my eyes started watering. This guy ground and pounded me. And then my mom was such a saint. She came outside and gave this boy a big old hug and was like, "Oh, wow."
The thing is,
doing that, baby.
no one believes that guy.
I remember from a young age, she's always kept us in the soup kitchens at our church, feeding the homeless. And, I always remember her helping out a lot of women who dealt with domestic violence. And
you said he's a professional MMA fighter?
Yeah.
And she's in security holding right now?
No, she's on the casino floor, and she has three young girls with her.
She's refusing medical?
Yeah.
Okay.
man, so humiliating. I got the Hall of Fame tonight, and then you're gonna put me on this by walking down the street. Humiliating me, my Hall of Fame night. You're a nerd. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. You fucking nerd. I hate you so much.
A few weeks after his arrest, Jon shares this tweet, then immediately deletes it. My life wasn't always great, man. Being molested as a child, losing a parent and a sibling to disease at a young age. It goes on and on. I got things I need to deal with.
You and your family have dealt with some pretty real stuff, including the loss of your sister.
I had a sister who passed away when she was 18 years old. She had brain cancer. You know, to see a girl who kind of seemed flawless to me at the time. You know, she was only 18 when she died, and she was a part of the church. She was a part of our choir. She was on the high school basketball team, high honor roll student. She was doing everything right. And then, you know, to have her just everything taken away from her, her beauty, her hair, you know, to have it all fall out. It was hard to see, and it was hard to witness and kind of grasp and understand why.
I can't understand. I can't understand for the life of me why God would send me to Binghamton, and within a year or two, he would take my only daughter, and what they used to sing in church, and the spirit and the power, the presence, and the anointing of God would come down. Yeah. God, why you wouldn't take some of them folks out there? Why wouldn't you take some of those bad folks? But then you take mine. Hello, somebody. And God says, why not? She's not exempt. Hello? Then I looked at the word and it says, God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life.
Her name was Carmen. Her favorite verse from the Bible was Philippians 4:13.
You're a religious person, but you have a tattoo.
Right.
You have a religious tattoo, which is double ironic. Because it says in the Bible not to get tattooed.
Right, not to mess with the temple. Right.
But then you gotta
pick and choose, right? What you want to listen to.
You know, I wear this tattoo on my chest, Philippians 4:13, that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I genuinely believe that I can do anything.
Coming out of high school, I started drinking in high school, and I always felt like I needed alcohol to be cool or to conquer anxiety. Well, I was kind of more reserved, you know, trying to figure out who I was going to be as a person and where my place was in this world. During the lunch breaks, I didn't really have a huge group of friends, so I would find myself standing there talking to the security officer, and I just became infatuated with the job that he had. You know, I thought it was awesome, and I thought to myself, you know, these people are stand-up individuals. You know, people look up to them. They're helping others. They're being macho. You know, this is right down my alley. So I always knew I wanted to go to school for criminal justice and become a police officer.
Jon gets into Iowa Central Community College in criminal justice. Yet, the drinking continues.
It just went from high school to college when you party even more.
But it doesn't seem to affect his performances. Quite the contrary.
You won everything in college.
Yeah, I won a state championship in high school and a national championship my freshman year in Iowa, so yeah.
But at the end of his first year, Jon finds out his girlfriend, Jessie, is pregnant. He's forced to choose between his college wrestling dreams or going back home with Jessie.
Suddenly, I'm a dropout. A few months after I was done with school, you know, I was a bouncer for a while. I was looking for some jobs and some opportunities, and I'm working at a bar.
And I was applying to be a janitor because I would have benefits.
I'm telling people that I want to be a UFC fighter. You know, it was kind of embarrassing in some ways. I'm running into all these kids my age. Jon, you know, I thought you were in college. It's like, oh, well, actually, you know, I thought I'd try the fighting thing. You're going to be a what? A cage fighter? I'm like, yeah, you know, the UFC thing. And they're like, oh, well, cool. You know, I'm in my last year and my accounting degree or my business major.
I literally got on all these TED Talks and on YouTube, and I just started YouTubing videos about self-belief and what does it mean to be confident? What does it mean to be a winner?
I made sure that all those kids that I was looking in the eyes, tell them that I wanted to be a UFC fighter, and the ones that doubted me or looked at me funny, I made sure that I would prove them wrong one day.
And I would watch hours and hours of Tony Robbins and Les Brown. And
I'm reading a book called Relentless right now. It talks about being a cleaner.
I read that book like 3 years ago, so.
It's a good book.
It's a good book.
It's a great book.
It might have helped me get here, to be honest.
You know, I'm reading it right now in this training camp leading into beating your ass.
Think Michael Jordan, the ultimate cleaner. Michael never cared about achieving mere greatness. He cared about being the best ever. Larry Bird is a cleaner. Kobe, Dwayne, cleaners. Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, Charles Barkley. In the business world, we're talking about Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. Most presidents are cleaner. And good luck getting re-elected if you're not. Stardom doesn't make you a cleaner. Winning does. And not just winning once. You have to be able to do it again and again.